All right. And we're live. I feel like I'm close. We have a good topic tonight. I'll give everybody a little bit to get on here. I apologize for going live 3 hours early. So I hope some of you are able to make it. I'm not sure who's going to be able to make it on here, but we have hymn sing tonight at church and fellowship. So I wanted to be able to still get on here. And the only way I could do it was just to come on early. So tonight we're going to be talking about your carnivore journey, our carnivore journey, and giving grace and just allowing the process to happen. So I will just wait a minute or two for some people to pop on. Hopefully somebody's going to join me. I have my hot cocoa, which is just my raw cacao powder and hot water and a little bit of, drum roll, coconut, unsweetened coconut milk. And I have a big announcement. Today is day number 1 officially of me doing all beef, no eggs. So I wouldn't necessarily consider it lion diet because obviously I have my cacao powder in my hot water. So that's not technically lion diet, but it's, I don't know, it's somewhere in between. My husband's just doing beef and salt and water. And yesterday I decided to go ahead and join him and just give up my eggs that I enjoy so much. But I wanted to just see how it would be just to have beef and no eggs. So usually we're beef, bacon, eggs, and butter. That's kind of our go-to for mainly for food, with the exception of Thanksgiving. We had some turkey and ham, and once in a while we just have mixed it up over time. But generally speaking, 99% of the time, we're just beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and more or less on the bacon end. Even the bacon kind of has its seasons, and then we do away with the bacon. So yesterday I just had our beef sausage and ground beef, and I felt great. But I got a box of these Atlas bars. I ordered these. I keep trying out. Well, I don't keep, but this is my second thing to try out. Was these low carb Atlas bars. I feel like I got a little bit of there you go. These low carb Atlas bars, save your money, y'all. I don't think they were super great. Nothing to write home about for me. I mean, it was like 20 grams of protein, less than 1 gram of sugar, which is great, but they kind of just tasted like, and they don't have a whole lot of seed oils and all that kind of stuff in it, but they just didn't really taste that great. So anyway, sticking with our IQ bars once a week for our Sunday evening treat. Me and my husband, we just have an IQ bar, and that has a lot more moisture to it. So anyway, I had that bar yesterday, is my point, if you're following my brain here. My point is I had all beef yesterday, but I did have that bar. So I don't think that technically would count as an all beef day. But today, all beef. Day 1, all beef, January 6th. So I should write it down. So I'm just going to hop into this, and maybe some of you all will see this later on the replay, but I'm just going to hop into some of these topics that I had tonight to talk about. And we covered a little bit of this first topic in the beginning, like I think our first video, when I talked about how we began our carnivore diet. And for our family, we did jump in the deep end, but we did it our own way is what I want to say. Meaning that we did go all beef, butter, and eggs, and sausage, and, and some pork. But we also allowed some grace for sauces, and we just tried to pick sauces that were as whole ingredients as we could find without seed oils in them, of course, and just kind of made that the exciting thing for the kids was, yeah, we're eating meat, but there's all these sauces to pick from. So we also gave grace, and still do, with honey with the kids. So they put honey. Sometimes they just put honey on the ground beef. They like that. Honey on their eggs. We got a waffle maker in the beginning for the kids, and they loved making egg waffles, which is just scrambled eggs put into a waffle machine. But if you put a little cinnamon in there, you can sell it as a French toast waffle. And it seemed to be a big hit at our house for several months. They were making waffles like crazy. They don't make waffles anymore. That phase is over. Another thing that we did was allowing exceptions for, we talked about smoothies in the past. So in the first few months, and a little longer for the kids and my bigger kids, we allowed like a good clean keto powder. We used Sun Warrior, and then we just added frozen berries to that and water, and it just gave them something to mix up the day or mix up the week with their meals, and they just really enjoyed that. Another thing that we did was we allowed, like, if we were out running around, we just did, instead of I would get like an unsweet tea. The older boys might get unsweet tea, but my little kids would just get like half unsweet, half sweet tea. So just finding those areas to give grace in. We got the flavored relight probably like a month or so into our carnivore journey. We learned about electrolytes and the importance of them. So we got some really good flavored electrolytes made by Relight, and that was really exciting for my kids because my kids are used to having just like water. So we haven't ever done juices, sodas, anything like that. I don't ever keep tea on hand. So it's just water is their drink if they live in this house. So having something flavored was like a big deal. That was a big treat. So that kept it exciting. Just looking for ways to make it exciting. And it's going to be different from my family to your family, but just always looking for ways to mix it up and keep the troops happy, keep the morale up, and keep everybody moving forward. Like last night, for example, I made up a whole bunch. I took my new coconut milk. I got this coconut milk. Usually I buy the canned coconut milk because we're majorly dairy free. We don't do liquid dairy in the house. We do butter now. We did add back in butter. But other than that, we don't really do dairy, like any dairy. Just butter is our only dairy. But with the exception of like maybe once a month, we might stop at the grocery store on the way home from church and pick up some sliced cheese to put on top of burgers if it's like something special that like, but it's in those parameters. It's like Sunday would be our designated like day to have dairy, whether it's during the fellowship meal or like on the way home if we didn't have a fellowship meal, if we just wanted to grab some cheese and do it that way. But so the coconut milk has been my go-to for years in my coffee, even before Carnivore. And so I always just do an unsweetened, because we didn't have sugar before either. So I always just did an unsweetened coconut milk, and it's canned. But I found that Silk makes coconut milk, and it's in the refrigerated section at Walmart. And it's pretty clean ingredients, y'all. Like there's no seed oils. There's no Carnivore in it, and it's just pretty good. Is it like 2-ingredient? No, but it's not in an aluminum can either. So there's that. And the price is right, y'all. It's 6 cents an ounce versus like 25 cents an ounce in a can. So those little cans of coconut milk can add up. But anyway, doing hot chocolates, cacao powder, and hot water, and putting a little coconut cream in it for the kids has been like a big hit. Letting them have hot tea at night or in the mornings if they want to make a cup of hot tea. Of course, they add a little bit of honey to theirs, but all of these things just help to keep everybody happy. So last night I had bought a whole bunch, not a whole bunch, but maybe like 4 or 5 of the half-gallon containers of the coconut milk, and I wanted to make some ice cream with it and try it out. So, because usually I just use my canned coconut milk for it, and so that's what we did last night. And we made it. Half was just plain vanilla, and then the other half we put some mixed berries in it. And my big Tex today tried it, and he was really, really happy about it. He had the one with the berries in it. And he was like, "Mom, taste this." So I tasted it. I was like, "Wow, that tastes like candy to me. Like, it's so sweet because of the berries and just not being used to eating that." And it is sweetened a little bit with honey. I think there's like about a teaspoon and a half of honey per quart. So there is some sweetness there too. But anyway, that was just things that we made concessions for as we go. Speaking on the topic of electrolytes, I don't know, I'm just going to put this out there, and then when y'all watch this, you can leave it in the comments below if you have heard this. But I kind of have heard this said in different ways over the past 7 months, but it never really settled into my brain until yesterday. And I was watching a live with Coach Emily, and this is the Steak and Butter Gang. It was Coach Emily and Coach Raymond, and they had 2 of, it was Todd, and I can't remember the other man's name, but people that they're coaching and working with, and they did it live, and they were taking questions, and people were asking them about electrolytes, and they were saying, they kind of reiterated the same thing that I've heard over and over again, but I didn't really understand it, I don't think, as well until yesterday. So they basically said, we think electrolytes are great in the beginning. They're a really great tool in the beginning to help you, to get you over the hump, like to get you started and reclamated to carnivore, especially when you're getting fat adapted and all of that, getting past all the carb cravings. Electrolytes are really good. And I can attest to that those, especially the flavored electrolytes, like we went with Relight because it was like half the price per ounce to buy the Relight in the big can. With the scoop, there's still a measurement. So I know some people get like hung up on, Relight does sell the little packets too, the pre-measured packets, but there is just a little measuring scoop in the can. So it's not that big of a deal to me to just use the scoop and pour it into whatever drink you're having or water. So anyway, there's that. But it was just way cheaper for our family to do it in the cans than it was to do individual packets. So, so the flavored Relight, initially, when I first started carnivore, I watched Nisha Berry do a video, and she said she recommended, and this is probably for people starting out, that you just do 1 scoop. I think they do Element, not Relight, but 1 scoop of your electrolytes per 32 ounces of water, and try to do that twice a day. So at minimum, you're getting 2 32-ounce containers of water and 2 scoops of electrolytes, 1 in each container glass. And so I was like, okay, great, I can do that. Got it. Got the instructions. So I just always did that. So after I would have my coffee mid-morning, I would make my 1 32-ounce big glass of Relight, and I would drink that. And then later in the afternoon, I would make another big 32-ounce quart of Relight. And I really looked forward to, it wasn't the raw Relight, it was the flavored ones. And I really looked forward to that. Like, it was just a little pick me up. It was just something to just get you through the day, that you felt like you got a little taste of something sweet and you were going to make it through the day. Just, it was just a boost. And so I can attest to that in that way, it was extremely helpful. Also, I did try going off of it a couple times, and I did get leg cramps early on in the beginning. So maybe I wasn't salting my food enough. But anyway, so I went back onto it. But what I heard Coach Emily and Raymond talking about last night on their live was that a lot of times people are overdoing it on the electrolytes. And I never really heard that before. And then they were going into it explaining that, like, it's a really great tool in the beginning, for a transitionary period. And maybe your transitionary period is a year, or maybe it's always, maybe it's your norm. I don't know. I'm not telling you to stop taking your electrolytes, but they were saying, like, I've heard Bella from the Steak and Butter Girl, I've heard her say over and over and over, every time she talks about Element, she says, first, I recommend you salting your food to taste. And if you are not feeling like that's enough for you, so add some more salt. And if that's still not enough for you, after you've increased the salt, and a good quality salt, but after you've increased your good quality salt onto your food, and if you're still feeling like you're having trouble, like electrolyte deficiency, then I would recommend the raw Element, Element. So that's what she always says every single time she advertises for Element. And so I was hearing that, but it wasn't registering. And so I think I'm saying all this to say that I took myself off of the flavored Relight that has stevia in it. So I still have it for my kids and my husband and my older kids. They still enjoy it, but they don't drink it like I was drinking it. Like, I was drinking it routinely, like 32-ounce glasses a day. And so I got myself off of that, put myself onto just the raw, unflavored Element. And I think what I'm going to do is, based on what they were saying, was that I'm going to just try to wean myself off of some of that, and maybe even just like cut it in half. So I'm just drinking regular water, a quart of regular water, and then just like a quart with the scoop in it, or just lessening it and just kind of playing around with it, because I am adding quite a bit of salt to my food every time I eat. And lately, like the past 2 days, I've been eating good hefty meals at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. So I'm getting plenty of salt, and I'm exercising. I'm not having leg cramps or anything like that. Exercising as in like walking for 5 minutes on the treadmill. But I just thought that was interesting, and I wanted to bring that up. It's like you always catch these little tidbits of information every time you listen to people. You could have listened to them over and over and over, but if you weren't in the right mindset or ready to receive it, it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute, I think I understand what she's saying now. So that was just really interesting. Another really thing that's important in the beginning is just giving yourself time to heal. So allowing yourself time to slow down and rest and heal. So just as important as it is to change your diet and eat low carb or ketovore or carnivore, it's just as important in this to rest. So you need time to rest and to heal up. And sometimes I see that, and I think that other people that I've listened to see that too, because they'll say, don't focus on the exercise in the beginning, just focus on your food. Just make your food your full-time job. And I would add to that, make rest your full-time job too. So that way your body has time to heal and adjust and just kick it into a lower gear. And I think you're going to have more peace in this, because it's hard to change everything in your life altogether. And when you're already changing all of your food and your whole body is switching gears from what you were eating to now carnivore, I just feel like it's best to just give yourself a lot of downtime and time to rest. So just keeping a loose schedule and being able to sit down, enjoy your meal, eat slowly, and not be rushed, and definitely not trying to push yourself to like, I'm going to go carnivore and I'm going to join the gym and go 5 days a week and I'm going to whatever, like join the swim team at the local Y. Just take it one little baby bite at a time. And just, I know Bella says like, just make eating your full-time job. Like just make that, just focus on that. And then later, like it was into the summer months. So we started June 8th for carnivore. And then by the time summertime rolled around, I believe it was like July or August, I listened to a Kelly Hogan and she said, integrate some movement. So every time you eat, just try to get up and move, whether that movement is like you get up and you walk down the hallway, you get up and if you're in an office, you go down the stairs, you walk a lap around the building, whatever it is that is movement for you, just do some type of movement. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. So after I would eat, I would go outside and just walk for like 5 minutes. And then I just, little by little, I challenged myself. Like then I was walking for 10 minutes and then I was walking for 20 minutes. And then I would just put on something on my phone and listen to it and just enjoy it. And I might walk for 30 minutes if I had time that day. But just a nice casual walk, nothing crazy. And then later, like a couple months later, I was listening to Dr. Amara, I think, and he was talking about sprints, Sean Amara. And so I was like, oh, I should do a 30-second sprint. That would be good, So just incorporated a little bit of sprints. So anyway, and since we were sick, Shelly, sorry, this is early. I'm so sorry that I had to be early because we have a hymn sing tonight at church and we have to leave early. So I just figured I'll put it out here. And then whenever y'all have time to listen, you can just tune in and listen to it and it will be fine. So we're just talking about giving yourself grace in all of this and just enjoying the process of it and not trying to overwhelm yourself with trying to do it all or trying to do it perfectly in the beginning. Just making, just eating your full-time job and incorporating like some rest in there, just giving your body some grace that you've just changed everything. Okay. We've just changed as women. Like I've just changed how we grocery shop, how I meal plan. I've just changed how my family eats. Which I mean, like today, it's like random. It's still kind of like a little bit chaos in my kitchen. But I just have to kind of embrace it because people eat when they're hungry. And like my little kids this morning got up and they reheated up steaks from last night that they hadn't finished all the way. So they just got their steaks out of the refrigerator, put them in the air fryer, heated them up, and then ate that. And then there is no way to gauge when they're going to be hungry again. Like I don't have my finger on the pulse of that. Like who knows, So then at some point this afternoon, they got hungry again. they had some ground beef, and it's just been like that. So that is just, you just have to give yourself grace for that, because it's not as organized and systematic as normal meal planning and that kind of stuff normally goes. And I have 3 older ones that don't eat breakfast at all. I don't eat breakfast. My husband doesn't eat breakfast. So their eating window, like my oldest son, Matt, he worked out this afternoon, and then he came in at like 2 or 2:30 and made himself some ground beef. And so I ended up sitting down with him eating. I had ground beef, and so we were just like sitting across from each other eating. So it's just like, it's not exactly the way that it was before, because they eat protein when they're hungry, and then they're full for a long time, so they're not hungry again. So I guess I should be thankful for that. I am thankful for that, but it's just different. So yeah, keeping a loose food schedule, reprioritizing your days just for like the most important things that day. So, for me in the mornings, it's get up, make my bed, get my coffee, take the dogs out. I said, get my coffee. My friend says, I'm not mom until I have my coffee. Please don't talk to me. Don't call me mom until I have my coffee. And it's not a caffeine thing, y'all, because I do decaf now. It's just a ritual thing. It's just like, give me my time. I'm not making anything. I'm not cooking. I'm not doing anything until I sit down and have my coffee. I've always been like that, decaf or regular coffee or cacao powder. It doesn't matter what it is. It's all the same. So then, yeah, I have my coffee, and then I usually watch one thing. I allow myself to watch one short thing, and that's my time in the morning. The little kids go and they watch something. The big ones are already gone. They leave early when it's still dark for work. So I don't usually see them in the mornings. And so the little ones get to go watch something. It's usually like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I usually watch Carnivore. It's me. I watch Amanda, and I have my coffee. That's honestly what I do in the mornings now. And then we start homeschool. So I get homeschool done by like lunchtime. And it's usually like from 9 to 12 is basically our homeschool time. Although I'm adding in my littlest guy here soon. I'm just going to be doing just a quick little something with him. So we'll see how that stretches out the homeschool. That might stretch it out a little bit longer. But anyway, around 12, we get that done. And then they can eat again. And then they go outside and play. And then that's my afternoon time to get something done in the house. I also start a load of laundry in the morning. So then in the afternoon, I load the dishwasher if we have any dishes from morning, afternoon dishes, and then get some laundry put away and hopefully run the vacuum cleaner. That's pretty much my day, like in and out every single day, defrost some meat for dinner, and that is my day. But I have those few hours at the end of the day that usually I can either tackle some little projects or tackle like a bigger project, even if it's just like a 10-minute project. Like lately I've been going and just wiping down all my ceiling fans in my bedrooms, my lights in my kitchen. I'm working on my ceilings. We had a horrible fly season this fall, so my ceilings are gross. And so I did my kitchen ceiling. I painted my ceilings with high gloss paint, y'all. So tell me I'm not a homesteader, because you can wipe the grime off the ceiling. My husband's like, that's not right. You're not supposed to paint ceilings with high gloss. I'm like, I'm painting them with high gloss. So yeah. No, I don't season my ground beef, but I hold nothing against you if you season your ground beef. I don't. My husband doesn't. We just cook it, and I cook it in tallow, and that I get on Amazon, the big 7-pound bucket. And then I add a little bit of butter to it when I'm done. And then I use my Redmond's real salt and just salt it real good on top. And that's how I do my ground beef every day. But my older children and one of my younger children still do love their seasonings. They have like, I don't know, there's like 3 or 4 seasonings on my kitchen counter right by the stove, and they're clean. They're not like seed oils or anything nasty in them, no like MSG or anything in them. But we just got them at the grocery store. And so I have a couple kids that still use them on occasion. I don't know who uses what when. I'm not even around to see everybody's food every time they're eating, because like I said, everybody's kind of eating at different times. So I know that my one son, Big Tex, he loves this like lemon seasoning thing, and he puts it on his steak and he loves it. So if you got to use seasonings, use seasonings. As long as it's not bothering you, I would do it. And I think the lemon one even has like a little bit of sugar in it. So it wouldn't be something that I would use. But if it makes my kids happy for now, I'm not like, we're not purist on things like that. So let me see. Yeah, keeping a loose schedule. Oh, okay. Prioritizing your days, doing the most important things. And then I do have a big announcement. I ordered, because I've been watching Amanda from Carnivore me like every day, and she talks about this book, Tiny Habits. She talks about it every single day, pretty much, and she reads it every day. And I'm not a super schedule person. Like I have a routine. We've always had like a daily rhythm for the day, and then if we have doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, whatever happens, we just go back to the same rhythm the next day. Like it just happens. But things change too. Like now my oldest 3 are basically out of the house every single day working. So that has definitely changed the schedule of the day too. So anyway, Tiny Habits. I ordered the book. It's coming today. This is my point. Oh, you feel bad for my husband. This is my point. What's your point, Vanessa? My point is I ordered Tiny Habits and it's coming, and I'm really excited about it because I started just doing the 3 minutes on the treadmill, and now I'm up to 5 minutes on the treadmill twice a day. I started 3 minutes on the treadmill once a day. And I think Amanda started 1 minute on her elliptical, and now she's up to 4 minutes on her elliptical. And I'm not going to keep going with it. Like, I don't want to ever make it like 20 minutes walking, because then I won't do it. I want to make it like 5 minutes is good. I feel like 5 minutes is like, I tell myself in my mind when I'm fighting with myself about walking on the treadmill in my mind, I tell myself, no, you have 5 minutes for yourself. No, you can make 5 minutes for yourself. You can get on there and walk for 5 minutes. That's not going to take that long. That's what I have to tell myself. So anyway, doing that twice a day now. So I'm really excited about this book because I am not a schedule person. Amanda says she is not a schedule person. Actually, she was like so proud all of these years because she was not a scheduled person. So this Tiny Habits book's really, really helped her. So I'm going to be starting it. And if any of y'all want to join me, I'm going to be going through the Tiny Habits book in February. I think I'm just going to do it like this. It'll just be like, we'll just hang out and we can talk about the book and what's going good and how you guys are implementing it or whatever. So that's my idea. I am very excited about it. It's $8 on Amazon. And I think she bought it for like everybody in her family this year for Christmas. So she's really excited about it. Prioritizing your food as self-care. So actually looking at what you're eating, not as like, this is my new diet that I'm doing, but instead looking at it like, this is how I'm taking care of myself. This is how I'm healing myself. This is what me taking care of myself looks like right now, and doing it like it's your job, like Bella says. That mindset really really helps, especially when, you know, you have family that says like, oh, well, we're going out for pizza or whatever, you know, to just be okay with respecting yourself enough and standing up for yourself enough to say, um, no thanks, you know, we're just doing this right now. I know it seems weird and crazy. It's fine. I thought it was weird and crazy too, but this is what we're doing and whatever. And eventually, it's only hard in the beginning telling your family no. Eventually, they just settle in and they were like, oh, well, we would invite them, but you know they're not going to do it. Or, you know, they'll just say like, well, we would invite y'all to come out, but we know you're not going to, you know, have whatever, you know, it is that they're going out to eat. It's like deep fried chicken or something like that. Sometimes there's just not options. Like if they go to certain places, then there's just not going to be, if it's like deep fried chicken and seed oils and French fries at the restaurant like, that they're going to, and that's all they sell there, like, well, we might as well not go because we can't do that. There's no steak on the menu. So anyway, just prioritizing it and being the example, not apologizing for it. Be an example to your kids, be an example to your family. You never know who's watching and they see your consistency. And even if they disagree with you strongly right now, it doesn't mean that they're going to always disagree with you. It doesn't mean that 6 months from now, they won't be trying it for themselves. So don't get discouraged in well-doing and just keep being that example for whoever it is. Maybe it's for your nieces and nephews or your own children or your husband. Like, just keep being that good example. Of course, for ourselves, we want to take care of ourselves, but also for the people around us. Don't feel like, well, if I just cave and have this big piece of pumpkin pie or whatever, not because I want it, not because I'm choosing it, but because I have guilt over the person that's sitting next to me and I don't want to offend them. Well, maybe you missed your opportunity to really, for, you know, even if they're not agreeing with you right now on your diet, but if you were like, no, I just can't, you know, I've come too far, I'm trying too hard, and I have to be real picky about when I choose to, you know, eat something off plan or something, you know, and then maybe that person will be like, oh, wow. Or that family member will be like, wow, I mean, she's serious. Like, okay, that's cool. I mean, who takes care of themselves like that in today's world? Everybody abuses themselves with food. Nobody, I shouldn't say nobody and everybody, that's like very extreme, but like most people just cave to pressure, you know, social pressure. And most people don't prioritize their self and their health over just doing what everybody else is doing. So just don't underestimate that, because I know like my friend who her and her husband were carnivore for a year before me and my husband went carnivore. I thought she was totally crazy. And backing up to even before that, like Justin Rhodes, he has the Homestead channel. Justin Rhodes went carnivore years ago, and I was like, he's going to kill himself. Like that's crazy. That's so unhealthy. That's not balanced. And then I would get all biblical and like start saying all of the reasons why that people should eat bread and vegetables and stuff. And, you know, and then here I am, like however many years later, like, I mean, I would get really upset about it because I would really care about the people and really think like they're going to hurt themselves. And I didn't really have a very good understanding of nutrition at all, just basic nutrition at all. So anyway, and I talked about just incorporating some gentle movement after every time you eat. Just try to challenge yourself, like, let me do something, you know, let me just go and make it easy, make it really, really little and easy. Like, you know, in the summertime when it was crazy hot, I was like, okay, I can go outside for 5 minutes and, you know, I'll just walk around the yard for 5 minutes, not like speed walking, power walking, nothing like that. Just like I will just walk very casually around the yard, putz around, find little things to do, pick up stuff, whatever, 5 minutes, and then go back in the house, just some type of movement. So whatever that looks like for you, if it's just getting down on the floor and stretching or whatever, that really does make a big difference. Eating and then moving. Let's see. And we talked about taking inventory at the end of the day. I talked about this in a couple videos before. I've mentioned it, but I started doing this probably like 6 years ago or more. And I actually would write it down. But I actually, back then, I wrote down a list of my most important things that I wanted to do that day, like things that not a to-do list, but things that like would just feed my soul, like sitting on the back porch for 10 minutes and having my tea, or having a hot bath, or reading a book to my kids, or holding my dog in my lap and watching a little show that I wanted to watch, or whatever it was. If it's staying carnivore for the day, if it's, whatever, you can make your things, whatever it is that feeds you, having your Bible study, doing your Bible journaling, whatever, listening to preaching or listening to singing, but making it really, really small. And my idea wasn't that I was going to do all 20 things every single day. But if I did one of those things every day, then I would feel like I was taking care of myself too. Because as moms, it's just really important that your whole day isn't spent serving, that you actually did something for yourself during that day, whether it's you had a cup of hot cocoa and you sat down for 5 minutes, or you got to watch your YouTube friend Amanda have a good morning with her puppy dogs, or whatever. At the end of the night, you got to read a story to your little ones, like whatever that was. And then so I had up my little list, and then at the end of the night, I would just kind of jot it down. Like I had a little calendar and I just wrote it down, like read books to the kids, put a little smiley face there, like, snuggled with the puppy outside, put a little smiley face there, went for a little 5-minute walk. There you go. Like whatever it was, little baby steps. That was just really good. And now I don't write it down anymore, but I do at night when I'm laying there. I'm just so thankful for anything that I got done on that list. In my mind, I just keep it in my head now, but anything that happened on that list, I'm just like, good job. Good job. You did it. You read to the kids. That's awesome. That counts. There's some things that don't ever matter in the long run, but reading to your kids, you don't have to read a whole novel. You don't have to sit down and read the whole Charlotte's Web book to them. But if you read them one little short story book, they're going to remember that. And I know that because I have memories of my dad and my grandmother reading to us. And they would just say, go get a little story and I'll read to you. And we would read the same books over and over and over. But they're memories growing up that I cherish, until this day. So there's some things, going on walks. I did a lot of that back in the spring, taking my kids on walks. And now it's bike rides, which is really fun. We got to get our bikes. Me and my husband got to get our bikes, but we're going to get bikes. And now my little guy, little Tex, he's got training wheels on his bike. We took them off, did pretty good, but then we put the training wheels back on. But he can keep up even with training wheels. So going on little bike rides, right? All of these things are they're memories for my kids. They're memories for me. I know a lot of times we talk about trying to make great childhood memories for your kids, but my girlfriend, who's a little bit further down the road than me, her kids are all grown. She's like, those are those memories for yourself too. Those are the memories that you're going to hold on to, that you're going to sit around and reminisce about. So yeah, they're for the kids, but they're also for you too, to hold on to. So anyway, I just lay there and take inventory of I mean, like 2 minutes, I just think of it in my mind to feel like we had a successful day, regardless of if the floor got vacuumed. I mean, it hasn't been mopped in a while, but like if the floor got vacuumed, or like, I'm not talking about like household chore lists. I'm talking about like the things that really matter list, those kind of things, the soul feeding things, those things that matter. So, and then also it helps you to get back to that. So when like a couple of months back, when I got out of order with like, I wanted to be reading to my kids at night and I just got out of the habit, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's really bothering me. Like I want to be able to read with them. And like, it happened just recently because we had sickness, and then I was sleeping in a different bedroom with one of the other kids that was sick for a while. And it was bothering me because I wasn't praying. Usually we're all together in the same room and I can pray with them at night before they go to bed. And then I was like, tomorrow night, I'm going to go and pray with the other kids. I was telling the one that was with me, I'm like, I'm going to go pray with them because it's really bothering me that it's been a while since I prayed with them. Like we just kind of got out of sync because sickness happened, and then it just messed up the routine. But it helps to kind of, or I got out of my Bible journaling and I'm like, wait a minute, I got to get back to that again. Like that was good. And then just little things like that, Let's see. After watching you with fried eggs on ground beef, it's in my favorite go-to. I love the fried eggs on the ground beef. Super my favorite. I would make like 3 or 4 fried eggs and put it on the ground beef. And then I got so like I do like cutting it up and eating it all together. But then sometimes I just want the yolk, which Dr. Berry said it's totally fine to just eat the yolk. The yolk is 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio. So it's like the perfect food. So if you're not feeling like the whites, don't like kill yourself. Eat them when they taste good. But if it gets to the point that the whites aren't tasting as good, you can just eat the yolks with the ground beef and it's just as good. But day 2 of no eggs today. Day 2 of no eggs. So in camaraderie with my husband. But anyway, well, thanks for hopping on here, Shelly. And I hope you have a super good night. And maybe everybody else will get to watch some of this in the replay. But I probably should go ahead and get my kids ready. They're all bathed up, the little ones, but I just want to make sure what clothes they have on. Little ones sometimes are creative with getting dressed when you actually have to leave the house and go somewhere. So I got to go make sure that they're dressed appropriately to go to church tonight and for the cold weather outside. And and we're going to go have a good night of hymn singing at church and fellowship. And it's going to be really good to get back because I haven't been since the week before Christmas. And the rest of my family, different ones have gotten to go at different times, but this stupid cold was really, really something. So thankfully, I think everybody, scared to say it, but I think everybody is finally over it. And and it ended up that my one son ended up back at the doctor's office yesterday and ended up having to do a Z-Pack and steroids and to get rid of it because it had caused bronchitis and it could be forming pneumonia even. So we had to back to the doctor's office again. So anyway, I don't like it when colds end like that. I don't like ending colds after a month. Still, we went to the doctor's office twice this month for all my kids, but I don't like going and ending it with a Z-Pack and steroids. Like, it's just like, but praise the Lord for it because he's able to breathe and not suffering. And so praise the Lord. That is good. That is good. And we're all going to church tonight. And that would not be happening if he didn't go and get medicine yesterday because poor little guy was having trouble breathing. The stupid cold. So anyway, I'll be glad when I would say cold season's over, but is there such a time anymore? I don't know. I'm not sure if there is legitimate cold seasons anymore. Hey, Sickle Homestead from Michigan. Yeah, I'm glad you made it on. I'm about to hop off, so you might have to go back and watch it in the replay. We were just talking about giving yourself grace and enjoying the journey of carnivore or ketovore or low carb or whatever you're doing, just the whole process through that tonight, just giving a lot of grace. And I just gave a lot of examples of things that we did to allow that process to just go smoothly and not put unnecessary pressure on yourself to do more than what you need to do when you've already flipped the script on everything that you eat. That's a really big deal. So just giving yourself the grace to get through that season and just kind of hyper focus on the food and eat like it's your job and kind of let a lot of other things just kind of go by the wayside. Get the important things done in life and kind of let the other things slip for a little while and just get a good handle on your new routine, your new schedule. I'm still doing it. We're 7 months in, like I said, and it still takes adjustment for, like it's not the same. And with 8 of us here, I don't know that it's ever going to be the same because, like I said, I got 3 of them working outside the house. They're gone first thing in the morning. Of course, my husband's gone to work first thing in the morning. So it's just me with the 3 little ones. So readjusting to, everybody's got seasons in life. So just recalibrating, that's all. But anyway, thank y'all so much for jumping on, and I hope you get to watch it in the replay. And I will most likely, I'm planning to be back on here tomorrow, 7 o'clock. That should be totally fine and work out for our schedule because we'll be home from church in the afternoon, and I'll have plenty of time to get everything together for tomorrow night. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see y'all tomorrow at 7. Have a super blessed night. Bye, guys.